All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone around the world, wherever you are. It's your DFB uncle right here, Eli, and the DFB director himself, Saya. Saya, how you doing today, man?
Man, I am doing outstanding, man. I am doing outstanding, King. How are you doing, man?
Man, let me tell you something, right? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here's it. I have never been better in my life, man. That is the feeling every single day, man. That is the feeling every day, King.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And to everybody out there, we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the love, the inspiration, the motivation, the support, the encouragement that we've been receiving from everyone out there, man. Thank you so much. You know, we love you right back.
Yes, we do, man. That love is genuine, is 100%, man. You know, you can't beat that, you can't match that, all right? So again, man, you know, last week we talked about balance, right? Well, guess what? This week we're gonna be talking about principles plus intentional action is equals to results. But again, you know, just like we always used to do, before we roll into the topic for today, we're going to start off from last week, you know, the words of wisdom, right? That we say, right, when you chopping an axe, a tree, right, with your axe, right, at some point you got to stop to sharpen that, right? So, Sai, can you go deep into that, man? Like, can you explain to us what that means? You know, how does that tie into, you know, discipline, focus, and balance? And how does that tie into the topic we're going to be talking about today?
Yes, absolutely, man. Many of us have already heard the expression about our inner world and our thoughts, you know, form our words, and our words, you know, gets, you know, expressed into our actions, and our actions repeated become our behaviors and habits, right? Yeah. So it's important to understand throughout that process that everything starts with a thought, right? And I think everyone universally agrees with that. So everything that we're doing externally, it comes and it starts. There's a starting point that it's an internal thing. And so sharpening the axe is just a metaphor for the internal work that a person is required to do in order to express certain actions and behaviors that is going to yield them the results, the optimal results that they are looking for, right? So, you know, you can't teach what you don't know. And life, you know, when you come out the womb as a baby, you know, you don't know everything. You don't know anything. And you're being taught, you're being exposed to different things. You're exposed to your language. You're exposed to your culture. You're exposed to religion, and those things are make an impression on that baby, that person, you know, in order for them to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and face life itself. So that just goes to show that at every step and every evolution in life, it is important for that person, that individual, in order to evolve, in order to level up, whatever term you want to put to it, you got to do some internal work, man. You got to do some internal work to sharpen yourself, to learn, to get the philosophy, to get the information so that you may take that information and transmute it and translate it into some, you know, intentional, purposeful action that is going to get you and yield you optimal results. So that's what that means.
Wow. Thank you for that, man. You know, working on yourself, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it, man, from the DFB director himself, right? You got to work on yourself, right? You know, a lot of the time, man, we'll always try to look external, right? For solutions, for answers, you know, whatever it is, right? We'll focus on the external, you know, keep pushing, you know, hey, man, today, man, you know, I did 100% is this, right? Today I push hard in this or that, right? Why? You know, where the true work lies is within you, within yourself, right? You know, you got to sit back and like, okay, look, let me work on myself, right? And then once you work on yourself, what you're doing is you're building yourself. You're becoming stronger so that, you know, when the outside or the external forces come at you, guess what? You're already ready internally because you're working hard on yourself. And then boom, you're ready to face whatever obstacles, whatever challenges life brings to you, man. Wow. Wow, that is beautiful, man. I love that, man. So today, ladies and gentlemen, right, we're talking about principle plus internal action, right? It's intentional actions equals to result, right? So remember, we started with discipline, focus, and balance, right? These three pillars, right? These three foundations, right? How do they give us results? Right, that is what we're going to be talking about today. When you apply these three pillars, these three formulas into your life, what does it look like? So, Sai, can you explain to us what does this look like? Principle plus intentional actions equals to results.
Yeah, man. Awesome question. And you know me, I love how-tos, man. You can get on a mic and you can drop philosophies and jewels and gems, and that sounds great to the air, and it make my heart may do flutter kicks. But once I'm done, I need some instructions, man. Like, tell me how to do the things that you're telling me to do. Give me some instructions. So the way I see it and my approach is very simple, and I like things simple, man. Principle. The principle is whatever it is that I'm trying to cultivate, whether it's discipline, focus, balance, dedication, commitment, fill in the blank with whatever your heart desires, plus intentional actions. What does intentional actions mean? Intentional actions mean that you actually have to get up off your seat, off your behind, and you have to do something. You have to move your body in motion. You cannot sit back waiting for things to happen. You can't sit there and pray about it and just stop at prayer. Prayer is necessary, right? But then you got to move your body into action. So that's the intentional action. And why is it intentional? Because I like the philosophy and the approach of I'm going to pick and choose the things that I know that I can commit to that is reasonable for me, right? If for example, if you're like, let's just use marathon running, and you're like, all right, you're going to have to get up and you're going to have to run 10 miles a day. That's not going to happen because I'm not going to commit to 10 miles a day. That's just not going to happen. So I'm going to pick something that I know reasonably that I can commit to. And eventually I will work my way up to that 10 miles a day. But starting off, you're not going to get me to do it right off the bat because I know I'm not going to commit to that. It's same thing for nutritional diets. Why do diets fail? Because people try to start these eating habits that they know that they're not going to commit to right off the bat. So start with something that you know you're going to commit to. And as you build up the momentum, you build up the discipline, you build up the willpower, then you elevate that commitment to something more stricter, something more, more tolerable, that you can handle at each level. So the intentional actions become, actions that that you can take that is within your reasonable space and energy and effort, right? That like I can do this, right? And then, equals results, man. We are results oriented. I'm not about motivation to make me feel good, man. I have plenty of things in life. I could watch a ball game to feel good if I want to feel good, right? I can go walk in nature. I can go Zen mode to feel good. I'm not about feeling good. I want results, man. I want if I'm going to dedicate and commit myself to something, if I'm going to pay for something, at the end state of that, when I exchange my monetary energy, I want some results, man. And if you can't give me results, but besides making me feel good about whatever it is that you're saying, like, I don't want it, man. No, thank you. Take this back, man. So it's about, at the end of the day, it's about results. So anything with the principle, right? You could fill that in with anything. And those things that we talk about, you're not born with. Nobody comes out the womb and is just, I'm a dedicated baby, right? Like it doesn't happen that way.
Yes,
you have to build that through constant repetition and intentional actions of doing things that over time you build that up, you cultivate that. And we're all, because we're uniquely different as human beings, we're born, all of us are born with a predisposition to something. Some people maybe because their parents, genetics, whatever, culture, have a willpower towards maybe foods or maybe whatever because of the culture. But other things, man, you have to cultivate. You actually have to like look at yourself, take a self-analysis and be like, and say, okay, all right, I am missing this. and I need to cultivate it. How do I cultivate that? Okay, let's use this formula. Okay, I want to cultivate consistency. Okay, consistency plus intentional actions. What does that look like? That means I got to do something. I got to do something that I know I can stick to every single day to show consistency. And you start small. That's why small wins, if you put everything into wins and losses, small wins, build up that confidence and that courage that, eventually lead to bigger wins. So you start small and you develop that, small wins and consistency. And then you're like, okay, now let me go after the big things. Right. So to me, that's it, man. Keep things simple, keep it practical, keep it relative, and make sure that it's based on results. Because if it ain't about results, if it ain't about winning, I don't want to have nothing to do with it.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, you see, this is how simple it can get, man. The definition, right? When we say principle, right, is what does principle look like, right? What is it in your life that you're trying to cultivate, right? Discipline, like he says, man, dedication, it didn't have whatever it is, right? You identify that, right? And when you were saying that side, you were talking about intentional actions, right? I was like, what, intentional actions, right? We can say it's the same thing as reasonable actions, right? Because you're trying to learn how to crawl, right? You're not gonna just be like, what, I'm gonna run. You gotta walk fast, right?
Yes.
So reasonable actions, you gotta be reasonable. Like, okay, let me pick this little by little, part by part before I move on, right? It's just a good example, right? Like going to the gym, right?
Yes.
Like if you've never been to the gym, you can go there trying to bench 385 or try to lift the heaviest weight, right? You walk your way through, right? You start lifting what you can lift, right?
Yes.
And then from there, over time you gain that strength, right? To be able to transcend, or elevate to the next weight, right?
Yes.
So when you say intentional action, it's like, wow, that is reasonable action.
Yes.
Right? Taking that reasonable action. So principle, identify what it is, you're trying to, build upon, then take reasonable actions from there.
Yes.
Right? You're trying to create discipline. Well, start by waking up and dressing your bed. Reasonable actions, right? Small action. And that's why you say, right? When you say, small wins builds confidence,
Yes.
right? So it's like once, you're comfortable with lifting just 5 pounds. Guess what? You have confidence to go to the next weight. Wow, that is as simple as you can get, man. That is so simple, man.
Yeah.
Man, can you give us an example, man? How does one, like cultivate this in their life? When we talk about discipline, focus, and balance, right? So for instance, balance, right? How do I get results, when I'm trying to have balance in my life?
Yeah, man. I think, if we're talking about balance, the first step is to take inventory of all the things that are currently in your life, right? And I'm going to take you through the process that I do. I take inventory of, I got a wife and I got kids and I got my profession and I have my entrepreneur and I have bodybuilding, right? And, then I have all these like lower lying relationships, right? Friendships. And I take inventory of all of that. And then now, I'm like, okay, what are my obligations, right? Remember, we covered that. Yes. And, so I make sure that those things are addressed, right? That I give time, attention, energy, sacrifice to my obligations, which are my family, right? And then I start to now like looking at the other things in my life, and there's a send and feedback type of reciprocity relationship that occurs. Like, are these things feeding me and helping me to grow, evolve, and elevate, or are they taking away from me and pulling me in any particular direction that is off balancing and off centering and taking me away from other things? And then once I take that full inventory, then I start small, man. I'm like, all right, what is one reasonable thing that I know that I can move into action right now? And that is the key. The key is to what actions can I take right now, immediately? Because the quicker you move into action, the quicker you get your body and energy moving in a particular direction, the more you're going to be able to see like, okay, yes, this, you build up more courage, you build up more confidence. And then, with those small victories, then you start to realize like, yeah, this is good. okay, what else more can I do? And then you just keep you rinse, wash, and repeat that whole cycle. What else more can I do? And then you start moving and you set this up in this particular pattern. I'm going to do this. And then once you find that formula that works, that's why it's you can't get a specific answer, because what works for Saya is not going to work for Eli. I can guarantee that. You can't take my formula and drop it on your life the way I allocate my energies and think that that's going to work for you, because our lives are different.
Yes.
So, the fundamentals is that you start small, but you get into action. A lot of times people get stuck. Man, I've studied with a lot of greats of the greats, programs that I've paid for. And, people would have you believe, because they want to sell you something, that you can just listen to a lecture, listen to YouTube, listen to someone speak, read a book, and then, walk away with all the answers and know how to do everything. No, man, it doesn't work that way. Your body has to move. You have to actually apply what it is that you are studying and what it is that you're going after. And application means you got to move into action. So like, I can't stress that enough. So how do you do this? It's like, take a step, man. Take a step in a particular direction and then launch it broken, fix it live. So just do something and then figure out, does that right? Did that work out? Do I like the results? Yep, keep doing it. Do I like the results? Nope, do something else. Boom.
Yes, man. I love that, man. I love that, man. Thank you very much for sharing that. Like you said, right? Like once you identify what that principle looks like, right? Taking an immediate action, that is the key, man.
Yes.
Immediate action, right? You okay, this is the principle, this is what I'm trying to work on, right? Can I act upon, how soon can I act on this? You don't want to wait till like tomorrow. You don't want to wait till like forever, right? You want to be able to apply these principles immediately. That is what it is, man. Immediate action. All right, man. Thank you very much for that side. Yeah. Right, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited, man. I can't even hide my excitement anymore, man. Right here, I have a very, very special guest, man. This guest right here, he has been a significant part of my life, man. I met him in Oki, and I remember his first introduction was, "Hey, I'm Coach Monty. Hey, man, that is who I'm trying to introduce to you guys, man. Since then, man, like, he's like, yo, I'm a coach, not just for basketball, but I'm a mentor as well, life coach, whatever it is, man. And since then, man, his text messages, whatever, man, it is, man, he's always kept me in his circle, man. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further introduction, man, here is Monty, man. Monty, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm blessed, thankful, humble, and just truly appreciative of the both of you taking out the time, because I know you got a lot of things you got going on in your lives. So for you thinking about me, it really means a lot. And I never take your time, and your energy for granted. So I'm doing great.
Yes. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much, man. Our listeners around the world, man, they're like, okay, who is this Coach Monty, man? They're so eager, they are dying. They don't want to know who you are, man. If you can please introduce yourself to the audience, man, because, I want to let them know you apply principles and intentional actions and the amount of results you get in your life, man. Like, you inspire me every day, Coach. Like, please introduce yourself, man.
And absolutely, Monty. Hey, for Williston, South Carolina, a little small town, 2 stoplights, 2 grocery stores, 1 big restaurant called Hardee's. My graduating senior class was 57. I came in the Marine Corps back in 1991. For me, it really wasn't about the yellow footprints. For those out there that's viewers, listeners, it's not about that. It wasn't about the Eagle Globe and Anchor. For me, it was about my mom. I was raised by a single mother. 2 other brothers, 1 retired Navy chief in Florida, but 1 was actually killed in a train accident on a Marine Corps birthday in 2004. So that day is kind of bittersweet, but I said to myself, I want to make sure I come in for my family. I used to hoop watermelons. For those, I'm a country boy at heart. Watermelons, cantaloupes, pick peas, butter beans, all that, but I said, I wanted more out of my life. So I came in the Marine Corps, but I kept my ear to the ground. One thing that I learned, I graduated 5'10", 125 pounds, soaking wet, went to boot camp and graduated 129 pounds. I said to myself, I want to be the best example that I could be. I don't want to be a statistic, because a lot of people from my hometown, they get killed. If they stay in the hometown, They stay there, and then they do the same things over and over again. I said, nah, I want to do something different. I was going to do 26. My first 10 years in the Marine Corps was setting the foundation. I know y'all talk about setting the foundation. That was for me. That was for me. So I said I was going to do 20. So the next 10 was I have to pass the torch, because I don't know when my days are going to be gone. I don't know, because we live and we die. We got the day you're born, you got the day you die, you got the dash in between. I want to make sure my dash means something. Even if I go, if I give something to Eli, if I give something to Saya, that's going to move on throughout. So I kept passing torches throughout my whole time. And I did it 26 years. But I said to myself, I know I'm going to retire. What am I going to do? I want to make sure I make more of a difference. I want to travel the world. I want to make sure I go back to my hometown and help clean it up. You know, and I got into network marketing and totally changed my life. You know, travel the world, got my beautiful wife, Kiyomi, and my baby boy, Micah, who that's why I do a lot of things that I do for, first and foremost, do it for God. But for Micah, I'm 49 years young. He's 3. So we're in the health and nutrition and wellness. If I want to be around when he's 49 and 48, I had to make some lifestyle changes. So my brother Saya, you know, he reached out to me. He saw my before picture. You know, he said, do this, do this, do this. I looked at him. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to ask questions. Just look at him. You know, if I wanted to be like him, I got to listen to the professionals. So stayed very disciplined and focused and balanced the whole 9, everything. And I followed to the T. And, you know, I had great results from it, you know, and it's one of those things where now he gave it to me. I'm able to actually help out other people. He started something that I thought I never did. The Marine Corps taught the basics. I know that y'all still in the Marine Corps. I'm out of the Marine Corps. Basic nutrition, 3381, basic training. But if someone would have told me that your face was puffy, Master Sergeant, they should have checked me a long time ago. But it took a guy named Saya Sar that says, nope, do this, do this, do this, do this. Now I look back at my pictures in the Marine Corps like, wow, totally different. So that's about me. I'm about passion. I'm about empowerment. I'm about encouragement. I want to make sure, like Les Brown said, I want to leave the world on E. I want to make sure if this is my last day, I gave you 1000%. I gave you nothing less than my absolute best. So that is me.
Wow. Thank you very much for that, man. Thank you very much, man. You know, like just the way you were explaining it, man, you know, applying these principles, you know, discipline, focus, balance, man. I'm out here, but, you know, feeling nothing but inspired, man. You know, like when you say you're 49 years old, man, I'm like, wait a minute. Are you sure he's telling us the real age, man? Because look, man, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to his Facebook page and you see this gentleman right here, I'm telling you this, man, like it's unbelievable. His physique is just out of this world, man, for a 49 years old. He keeps living. He's not existing. He's living his best life at 49 years old, man. Wow. Thank you very much for that. You know, I wanted to ask, man, for the, like, you know, the discipline, right? Focus and balance, right? You know, so I would say those are the principles, right? And then if you don't mind explaining to our listeners, right, what does the intentional actions look like to give you this result that you have in your life?
Ain't no doubt about it. Before I get into that, it's about surrounding yourself with those who are already successful. Surround yourself with giants. I see you, I see Saya, and I said to myself, I have to make sure I continue to push too. So like my good word says, the iron sharpens the iron and the steel sharpens the steel. So even though, like you said, you watch me, I watch as well. I'm very particular on who I watch. I'm very, very particular on who I watch, and that's the both of you. Now getting into intentional actions. So I believe this: you plan, you act, and you execute. A plan means nothing. Like I got this planner right here. You probably can see it a little bit. I have that planner. Everything is detailed. Everything. So I'm not going to put anything on my plan that I don't want to do. Like Saya said, you know, I want to make sure I get the small wins. So I put things in there. I mean, I know I can get this done, but for me, it's that I stretch myself just for me. I stretch myself just a little bit more. If it doesn't work, I fall back, I regroup. That's why every Sunday I'll go back and I'll go back to my plan. So when it comes down to actions, it's about knowing what you want and just going after it. So for me, I say to myself, if I see something in front of me, there ain't gonna be a brick wall, there ain't gonna be an obstacle or nothing gonna get in my, if I want it bad enough. But the question is, to the viewers and everybody, do you want it bad enough? Because anybody can sit back and say that they're gonna set a goal. We can set a goal and we can get a goal. Setting the goal, we can write it down on paper. But getting the goal, you gotta take the steps. You gotta take the action steps. I got this saying that says, action cures everything. Okay, because if you don't take action, nothing's ever going to work. No one's going to follow Sai if he's standing flat-footed. No one's going to follow Eli if he's standing flat-footed. So we gotta move, because action is the key, is the master key. So for me, it's about just making sure that, you know, I have the end result. I know Sai talked about that. What do I want to accomplish? And then I back with plans. Stevie Covey said this, you know, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You know, back with planning. We got to make sure this is what I want. I'm going to take a step back, and then I got to take action in order to get there. And along the way, you're going to have ups, you're going to have the downs, you have everything in between. But it's important when you're taking these actions to surround yourself with the right energy. Surround yourself with the right people, because you're going to have people that's going to try to take away from, like Sai talk about, that take away from you, are going to hold you back, just like this shirt. You're going to try to move forward. You're going to try to take action, but look at my shirt. I know the viewers can't see it, but they're pulling you back. You got to let them go. If you really want to win, you got to I love you like a brother. I love you like a sister, but I'm going north. You're going south, you're going east, you're going west. That's not my route I'm taking. So that's me. When you talk about intention, I'm very, very intentional about what I do and back up, because anybody can do this. The talk game may be strong, but that walk game is gone. Anybody can talk the talk, but are they going to walk the talk? We can talk, blah, blah, blah. It can sound like Pigpen from Charlie Brown or the teacher. Wah, because the action. That's why I look at you, Sai, and I look at Eli. I don't even have to know that y'all putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. I don't have to know that, because when you get on the stage, that's the result. And then they can watch the documentary, or they can find out the documentary after the fact, you know. So I just appreciate y'all for pushing me, you know, in a great way, you know, and that enables me to help push somebody else at the same time.
Yes, man. Wow. Thank you very much for that, man. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, I want to start, you know, if you listen closely, man, to what, you know, Monty said, man, he started with energy. Iron sharpens iron, man. You know, remember what we've talked about on our previous episode, man. Energy is very important. You got to protect it at all costs. You got to protect it with your life, man, because the people you surround yourself around, right? The people that takes away or give you energy, right? Like, it's very, very important. Those are the people, like, that determines everything, right? So for me, like, that was the principles, right? He noticed, man, look, this energy, man, this energy right here, I'm creating with it. They're not destroying, I'm in destructive mode, right? And what happens with that energy? He's creating. Energy is no respecter of age, gender, or anything, all right? Energy is, we all have the same equal amount of energy, man. Remember, we said that in previous episode, right? We said that, man. And just listening to him, you know, like, you know, him talking, man. And you know, let me remind you again, at 49 years old, man, his energy is just, you know, for me, I'm young, all right? I have to keep up. We're like, okay, man, let me keep up with this dude, man. Like, no, I can't, you know, that is an insane amount of energy, right? And the other keyword I want you guys to pay attention to was action, all right? You can plan as much as you like. You can think, you can read, whatever it is. I don't care whatever it is, right? You have to take action, just like we said, right? Immediate action. You have to take action, man. Whatever your plan is, right? You have to take action. And like he said, right? It doesn't matter how many times you fall. It doesn't matter if that plan doesn't work because you took that action. Guess what? Still keep taking actions, man. Still keep taking actions, man. Man, Sai, how do you feel, man, hearing this about Monty, man? You know, like, it's so inspiring, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's called Monty Hay the Motivator, and that's not on accident. That is because that's exactly how this man is built. 365 days of the year, 24 hours of the day. Like, he brings the same energy, the same motivation, the same inspiration, and he knows how to tap inside the human being and light a fire or press the right button to get that person feeling like, okay, I need to do something. And that is that's how powerful this man is, and how big of an influence he's been in my life and everybody that I know he's come across. Now, the biggest thing that, amongst what you said that stood out to me, he said, you got to surround yourself with champions, right? Now, there's another part of that he remiss to say, and I don't know if he's saving it for the, because he didn't want to offend anybody on the podcast, but I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, surround yourself with champions, not chumpions, right? Not chumpions. You surround yourself with champions. You surround yourself with giants, because it's infectious. If you're around people who are succeeding, and you're around people that are winning, and you're around people that are doing something positive and constructive, it's contagious. It's the energy that's going to transmute from one person to the next person, and eventually to you. And then it's going to force you and push you into like, okay, I want to be better. And that's where the steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron concept comes from. And I love that. Right? You have to be very selective about the people that you allow access to you and that are in your environment, that you allow influence you. Now, the other part to what he said, even though he didn't say it, I'm going to say it for him, is also true, right? If you surround yourself by 4 champions, you will be the 5th one, right? So you have to be very careful, right? If you are around people, listen, true story. A few days ago, someone sent me a message and said, hey, man, I'm hanging out. Do you want to come hang out? And I respectfully declined, right? In my head, what I really wanted to say to that person is, I don't want to hang out with you because you have a poor mindset. You hang out with poor mindset people and you discuss poor mindset stuff. And I don't want to be around that champion mindset. Right? I am preparing for a show on April 30th. So I would much rather be around Eli and Monty and whoever else is working towards something in their life productive and constructive that can help me to elevate my game. So that's one of the things about Monty Hay, the motivator, is that when you're in his presence, when you're around him, you're going to be forced to have to elevate yourself, because he won't even allow you to bring anything less. So that's why I love this brother right here, and he's near and dear to my heart.
Yes, man, thank you very much for that side. Like, ladies and gents, I'll tell you this, man, the insane amount of result this man has in his life, man. At 49 years old, you would think he just came to the earth like two years ago. The energy of a 19-year-old and a 49-year is different, man. And in the world we live in today, man, people even at 30 years old, right? You be like, man, you 30? I thought you were 50. And to see someone 49 years old living his best life, getting results that he want. Why? Because he has principle, and he added that with intentional actions, man. And I'm gonna tell you guys, son, I'm gonna pass the mic off to him, so that he gives you guys, open his contact, because they'll tell you this, right? Every day, this man does not forget to go on live on Facebook. And what does he do on live Facebook? Encourage, inspires, motivate, whatever you call it, man. Like, if you think you're having a horrible day, man, just go to his Facebook page and listen to great words of wisdom that this man has to say. So, Monty, without any, just go ahead, man. Give us the information.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it back and say that the viewers need to tune into your podcast. They need to follow you, Eli, you, Saya, if they want, just energy, upliftment, motivation, encouragement. Those that are striving, are actually on the stages, reach the highest levels and surround themselves. Y'all winners, man. So I know y'all gave it to me for a little bit, but I'm just going to tell your viewers they definitely need to continue to follow the both of you, because you're actually not just giving them knowledge, but knowledge that can be applied. I know Saya was talking about that, because knowledge is not the power, it's the application of knowledge is the ultimate power. So thank you once again for sharing this podcast with me. And for me, I'm easy like Sunday morning. I'm old school Commodores. Monty Hay the Motivator. I'm on YouTube. I'm out there on Instagram, on IG, Monty Hay the Motivator. On Facebook, I'm Monty Hay. But for me, I'm just going to say this: the same person that you see on the screen is the same person you see off the screen. For me, it's all about being genuine, being real, and true. I don't have a filter. This is who I am. So when the camera's off, this is who you got. When the camera's on, this is who you got. And I can echo the same things back to you, because I know both of you personally, and I just appreciate y'all for being in my life. I love you. I love you. I know we're not blood brothers, but I call it thick water. Thick water means some people in your life are closer to you than your blood relatives. So y'all thick water to me. Love you for life.
Wow. Thank you very much for that, man. Thank you. Just one more, before we call it a day, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the minute, the moment has come, right? Where, we'll have to wrap up this podcast, man. It is so lively. I love every conversation of this, and if you're listening, man, you should have your notes, your keeper, whatever it is, man, learning, taking notes, right? Again, before we call it a day, man, I'm going to pass the mic off to Monty. Monty, can you leave our listeners, our viewers, with words of wisdom, man, something, so they can always remember you with, man. Words of wisdom for the day.
Hey, absolutely 100%. And for me, if anybody knows anything from me, I always come from the heart. I always stay genuine, real, and true. If you want something in this world, do not hold back. Do not half step. Do not look to the left, look to the right. You got to go and get it. You got to say to yourself, I'm going to put my head to the grindstone, and I'm not going to give up on my goals and my dreams. Anybody can chase a dream, but for me, it's about capturing. So I'm going to tell everybody out there, don't just chase a dream, capture a dream. And when you dream, don't dream small time, because it's your dream. Dream the biggest dream that you could possibly dream, because you look up in the moon, you look up in the stars, somebody got there. Somebody, not the sun, but somebody got on the moon. If you want to get somewhere, you got to go out there, you got to get it. No one's going to hand it to you. You got to go out there and earn it. This is not something you're going to find. The confidence and the energy and the effort is not going. You're going to find it at a Costco, a Target, or Walmart. It comes from the heart. And whenever you got your heart, you got to take your heart out and say, "Hey, world, this is who I am. I am going to leave this heart out here for you. If you want it, if you don't want it, it's there for you 100%, 1,000%. Like Saya said, it's 365 days a year. 24/7, because God put a calling on my life. If God put a calling on my life to empower, uplift, motivate, energize, I'm not going to say, God, I'm going to put you on call waiting. No, I say, God, I got this. And I got this. And I'm going to give everybody that's in my path 1,000% of me until my very last breath.
Wow, man. Thank you. Man, I can't even thank you enough for those words of wisdom, man. Like you were saying it, man, I was like right here, man, I'm just so inspired, like never before. Like I needed that, man. Thank you for that. And I know our listeners listening, they definitely needed that, man. From today on, man, I'm going to change one of my vocabulary, because when people ask me something, they'll be like, "Oh, how you do?" I'll be like, "I'm chasing my dream." Guess what? I'm not chasing it. I'm capturing my dream. I captured it. I am capturing my dream, man. I love that, man. That is going to be my sign praise right now. I'm capturing my dream. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment and the hour has come, man, where I have to leave you with these three words: desire, faith, and believe. Out.